Okay, let's get right into this explainer on the hidden economics and algorithms governing the content we watch every day. You know, we often like to think of the internet as this great equalizer, right? A totally democratic stage where anyone, anywhere, with just a camera and a solid idea can build an audience and make a real livelihood. But behind the screen, there's a much more complex, kind of invisible narrative playing out. It's a story of distinct advantages for some and literally an uphill battle for others. So today, we're going to unpack the massive ripple effect created by how the platform prioritizes the US market and how that completely shapes the very culture of the content we consume.
Now, to really understand this underdog story, we have to shatter the illusion of equality right out of the gate. 1 million views in the US versus 1 million views in the Philippines. I mean, on the surface, a view is a view, right? The sheer effort it takes to write, shoot, and edit a viral video requires immense talent, regardless of where you live on the map. But in the eyes of the global algorithm, these two identical milestones mean something entirely, fundamentally different.
The absolute scale of the income gap here is staggering. To put that into perspective, if our protagonist in this story is a creator in South Africa, India, or the Philippines, reaching 1 million views from their local audience might earn them, maybe, a few $100s. But an American creator, getting the exact same 1 million views from a US audience, could easily pull in anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000, and honestly, sometimes even more, depending on the niche. It's the exact same amount of human attention, but the monetary value assigned to it is just worlds apart.
And the main inciting incident for this massive disparity is a really simple, fundamental rule of the platform. Payouts are tied entirely to the geography of the audience, not where the creator actually lives. So this forces a pretty heartbreaking choice on international creators. To make a sustainable living wage, a lot of them are forced to just abandon the local topics and cultural stories they actually care about and pivot their entire creative strategy to appeal to American viewers. At that point, they aren't just making art anymore, they're desperately trying to export it to a more lucrative demographic.
Let's move into Section 1, the antagonist demands and how creators are fighting algorithmic bias. To survive this system, many international creators undergo what we call cultural homogenization, and this is a fascinating yet kind of tragic part of our story, because the algorithm learns what works by analyzing a massive data pool of US viewers. International creators feel this immense pressure to mask their true selves. They'll start adopting American slang, dropping Western pop culture references, and even softening their local accents. Why? Well, because if the initial English-centric test audience doesn't immediately grasp a piece of regional humor, the algorithm misinterprets it as low engagement and just absolutely kills the video's reach. They are literally changing how they speak just to trick the system into giving them a fighting chance. But you see, the battle isn't just about how they sound or the slang they use. An independent creator in a developing economy has to constantly fight for screen time against highly polished, studio-level American productions. It is a classic David versus Goliath scenario. But in this digital arena, Goliath has a massive financial head start that compounds with every single upload. Because US creators earn so much more from those high AdSense payouts and lucrative American brand deals, they can afford to arm themselves with incredible resources. They just take those massive budgets and reinvest them right back into their videos. We're talking hiring professional editors, specialized thumbnail designers, buying high-end cinema gear, the whole shebang. This arms race naturally raises the viewer's expectations globally. It makes it exponentially harder for raw, authentic, lower-budget local content to break through the noise, simply because the audience has been conditioned to expect television-level quality just from clicking a thumbnail.
Which brings us to Section 2, the man behind the curtain, or exactly why YouTube loves America so much.
Now, to understand why this system so heavily favors one specific demographic, we have to remember that this platform isn't just a video host, it's a finely tuned advertising machine. And the US market provides the absolute perfect storm. You've got binge culture driving high viewer retention, search intent driving long-term passive views, and massive purchasing power driving premium ad rates. Let's actually break these down a bit to really understand the forces at play here.
First up, we have what's known as the living room shift. Americans have an incredibly mature digital video culture. They aren't just, watching a quick clip on their phone during a commute. They are spending hours binging content on much larger smart TVs, practically completely replacing traditional television. This connected TV behavior gives the algorithm incredibly clear, sustained signals on exactly what keeps people hooked for really long periods of time.
And keeping people hooked is absolutely the ultimate goal because of the platform's revenue split. The creator takes 55%, sure, but the platform takes a massive 45% cut of that ad revenue. Since their financial success is directly tied to watch time, the recommendation algorithm is ruthlessly optimized to serve content that keeps American eyes glued to the screen. If a video catches fire with US viewers, the algorithm is going to aggressively push it globally to maximize that 45% cut. But wait, why are those specific American eyes so incredibly valuable? Purchasing power. Advertisers are willing to pay a massive premium to reach them. We are talking $15 to $30 per thousand views, which is also known as CPM. When you compare that to the drastically lower rates in developing economies, it becomes entirely clear why the algorithm basically acts as a heat-seeking missile for US engagement.
On top of that, American audiences feed right into this highly lucrative buyer behavior loop. A huge percentage of US views come from direct search intent. Think about it. An American viewer will actively search for a product review, a tech unboxing, or financial advice right before making a purchase. They will sit there and watch a highly specific 20-minute deep dive. This high-intent viewing signals immense long-term value to the platform, causing that video to rank high in search results and just rack up millions of passive views for years to come.
And because the rewards of this buyer loop are so astronomical, it creates this intense feedback loop that concentrates full-time professional creators right in the US. Think of your heavy hitters, your Mr. Beasts, your MKBHDs. Their massive production budgets naturally attract more eyes and hook viewers longer, generating tens of millions of views per upload. But in doing so, they become the algorithmic standard setters. They dictate the exact engagement metrics the algorithm ends up demanding from everyone else, everywhere in the world.
But here is section 3, the twist, and it's all about the global arbitrage advantage.
Just when it seems like the system is entirely stacked against our international protagonists, there's a fascinating loophole: earning US dollars while spending local currency. For creators living outside the West who actually manage to decode this algorithm and successfully capture an audience in the US, the UK, or Germany, the script completely flips. They unlock an incredible economic advantage.
By intentionally targeting high CPM Western audiences, they start earning those premium US dollar ad rates we just talked about. But because they reside in a country with a much lower cost of living, the value of that dollar stretches infinitely further. This arbitrage strategy allows them to build incredibly profitable businesses. They can hire extensive local teams, build out amazing studios, and scale their operations much, much faster than a US-based creator who is constantly bleeding cash just to battle high American rent, taxes, and production costs.
So ultimately, the narrative of the global algorithm resolves into a very sharp, definitive divide. If an international creator chooses to stay purely local and serve only their immediate community, they face a really steep, often insurmountable financial ceiling. But if they learn to bridge the gap, adapt their storytelling, and appeal to a global or US audience, they can leverage the very system that marginalized them to achieve absolute financial freedom.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this question to ponder. The next time you're browsing your feed and you click on a captivating thumbnail from a creator halfway across the world, ask yourself, are the voices you're hearing truly authentic to their region? Are you experiencing their genuine local culture? Or are you simply watching a brilliant global echo of American culture, perfectly engineered to satisfy the demands of a powerful algorithm? It certainly makes you look at your recommended feed in a whole new light, doesn't it? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.